Noon, everyone. How you doing? It's Tom Numbers. So we're 295 days into President Trump's presidency. It's November 11th, so Armistice Day, and I think it's Veterans Day in the US, but Armistice Day here in the UK, 11/11, the mark of the ending of the war and wars. So it's a significant day. 11 times 11 is 121, as in 1.21 gigawatts. 295 in numbers comes to President Donald John Trump. 185 is Donald John Trump. Book of Revelation 185 talks about the Trump, and people say, which Trump? It's not him. It's like, yeah, it is. He's the avatar. He's the Neo that's been put in position to help redeem the world, to save the world. Hey Wendy, how you doing? For new viewers, let's see who's in the chat. Hope we don't get censored here. Come on, YouTube. So A is 1, first letter of the alphabet. B is 2, C is 3. And it's called gematria, simple English gematria. And it helps us peer around corners in terms of what's going on and connect the dots that are in front of us, but we wouldn't necessarily always see them, but we connect them through the numbers, through the synchronicities and through the dimensions. And then magical things start to appear, as we know. Those that follow me for a long time will know the track record of the things that appear. Recently we had sinkholes appear. I did a tweet. I knew the sinkholes were going to start to appear. First of many, but then 10 days later, we had the massive one in Thailand. Back to the Future is a big playbook on the things I talk about. 88 miles per hour. Ah, bless you. Thank you so much, Victoria. Thank you for your $50 super chat. I appreciate that. Thank you. Giving you a shout out. Hang on, trying to give you some love. There you go. Thank you. Yeah, 88 miles per hour. 88 is Trump in Back to the Future. And one of the main streets in Back to the Future, I just discovered it a few days ago when someone kindly put it in the chat. Bushnell Avenue is the street, the real street that Biff Tannen and Lorraine Baines live on. And I think George McFly lived on as well. So the question is, did that happen since I've been doing the numbers, or was that always the case? Probably always the case, but you never know. I don't know how we would prove it, but it keeps happening. And then there's also, my friend Lindsay discovered this, as a Bushnell theatre in the US that is showing the play of Back to the Future. And I'm the one in the Truth movement that talks about Back to the Future the most. I'm the one that taught the world that 88 is Trump, 88 miles per hour. I got all these codes from President Trump, from Diana, from Q Team, from my future self, from my relatives, from my dear grandmother, Eileen, my cousin Paul. No hype button today. Ah, okay. Some of you might have hype buttons, some of you might not. If you can hit the hype button, that's really helpful. So thanks, Victoria, for that heads up. But the numbers keep popping up, they keep manifesting. Keeps happening. I get them in the films, I get them all over the place. Some are global ones that I can share with you, some are personal ones, some are nuanced ones, but they keep popping up. So what's this with the BBC and President Trump? It's interesting, isn't it? It's going to lead to something. Is hype only on replays? Okay. So after the show, go back and hype. Yeah, that would be really interesting. That would be great. You know what? Someone did a calculation. They said if we do, I think, another 182 hypes, it will get me in the top 100 of YouTube channels. That's not too many away, because we've had quite a few hypes. So everyone that's in there today, if you can go back after. I didn't know that distinction. If you do it after the show, if it pops up now, great. But if it doesn't, go back after the show. Quickly go into the replay, hit the hype button, and that will help it. That will be amazing. Thanks, Kelly. 121. There you go. But that'd be cool to get into the top 100 YouTube channels. That'd be great. Someone did a tweet the other day. They put a list of all the truthers, and they've got like 350 truthers, and they've put them in alphabetical order. So I'm quite near the end of the list because it's Tom numbers T, 20th letter, so it's lower down in the alphabetical order. But I made the cut. So whoever's done that one, thanks. I'd have thought top 10, but it's in no particular order because it's alphabetical order. So, but 350 is everything everywhere all at once. And in the F1 film, they talk about 350 million. Millions 84. Sunday's 84. So also 40. Hey Diane. Hey Glennis. Thanks, Wendy. I appreciate that. Thanks, Glennis. So yeah, this whole thing with the BBC. I don't watch the news. I hear kind of, I guess, important stories. I call it important loosely, but kind of major stories I hear from elsewhere. So it comes through. But we'll see how this one transpires. But it was interesting because it talked about billions again. President Trump the other day said billions, not millions. He'd said that in reference to my friend Lindsay that was doing some codes, finding stuff, sent it to me. But then I said, oh, well, that's what he's saying to you. And then the billions has come up again. It's like a picture of Dr. Evil, Austin Powers character. They're doing it with Trump. But it's funny. It's funny. I mean, I was talking about Wayne's World the other day. Wayne's World is with Mike Myers. Wayne's World is Austin Powers. Same character, same actor. So it's interesting just how it all kind of comes back around. But the BBC, yeah, we'll see what will that be the beginning of it all to come down. The House of Cards. You know what's interesting tonight? Nuremberg is coming out. The film Nuremberg. So they're doing a special screening of that this evening. It comes out, I think, tomorrow officially, or the day after, or sometime later this week. But Nuremberg, it's interesting that a film about Nuremberg is out now, paving the way for future things, future events, future trials. And it all has to come down. You saw me do the show last night out on the pier, and we're waiting. And then I was chatting with a friend last night, and it all has to come down. All these entities, nefarious NPCs, reptiles, whatever they are, things that fight against light, has to end, has to go. Because life is more than just constantly sorting out crap from other entities. And there's a whole plethora of them, and we know what they are. And those shackles have to be released. That's part of the deal, I believe. It has to be released. Things have to change. Yeah, they have to go. Thankfully. Because imagine when you get into the world where there's no decay, there's no death, there's no interruptions, there's no distractions, there's no silly things that stop progress. Excuse me a second. There we go, that's better. There you go. Just closing the window. Someone's starting their car up there. Usually they're going quite quick. Sometimes they just sit there with the exhaust on, which isn't, I'm never a fan of that. But that's the world we're going into, folks. We're going into a world where there won't be any death, there won't be decay, there won't be illness, there won't be poverty, there won't be interruptions, there won't be breakages, there won't be things that just get in the way. Because that's kind of what the deal is, isn't it, here on Earth right now in this level of reality. You do your best, and then there's all these kind of things put in your way, obstacles that you have to overcome. And it just gets a little bit tiresome after a while, doesn't it? You know, particularly when you can see that it's not necessary. I was saying last night, if you can create this reality, which we're in, and it has its pitfalls, if we just look at it from a purely objective perspective, it's pretty ingenious. It's amazing, isn't it? This thing that we're in is amazing. Excuse me. And if you can create that level of complexity and of reality, we'll call it reality, then it's not necessary to have these the effects of the fall, the satanic element, the breakages, the pitfalls, the stops, the hurdles, the snakes and ladders characteristic. That's not necessary. If you can create this level of reality, you don't need those other things. I still do question sometimes why on earth we signed up for it and agreed it, but nevertheless we're here, so we're making the best of it. But I do believe it comes down to that thing of contrast. Once you've experienced that kind of irregular chaos in certain things, the entropy, the death, the decay of life, when you experience the opposite of that, where things are perfect and they don't expire, then you can experience the bitter and the sweet. That's what it feels like to me. What do you think about that? What do you think about that? Because you create it, you create this level of reality, and there's so many great things about it, but the pitfalls, the pit stops, those aren't necessary anymore. You can upgrade, and that's where we're going. You can upgrade to a level of perfection, the 1,000 years of peace, the millennium reign. So those things aren't necessary anymore. None of it's necessary. Government's not necessary. Taxes, not necessary. Banks, not necessary. Laws, not necessary. Police, not necessary. Judges, not necessary. Depression, not necessary. Ill health, not necessary. Just layers upon layers and upon layers of nonsense. Then none of it is necessary. But for whatever reason, they're there. And there are these pieces of things in the puzzle that you seem to have to always overcome. And then they loop back round again, and you have to keep trying to conquer them. They're like weeds, aren't they? They're like weeds in the garden. Weeds aren't necessary. And if you take the narrative of Adam and Eve, the Garden of Eden was perfect, and then came the fall. And we're in the season of the fall, aren't we? Autumn. It's the fall of the Cabal, fall. You know, probably when everything goes, it will probably be in autumn. It will probably be this period of time. But those things aren't necessary. They've been around, even to our kind of chagrin of not wanting them, but they're there. But once we move into it, beyond it, they're not necessary. So we've got 184 in the chat, which is the fifth dimension. There you go. So I'm talking about the higher levels of reality, and the numbers are confirming it. Yeah, all of that's not necessary. It's not necessary. The clogs in the system, the clogs in the blockchain, those things aren't necessary anymore. Whether everyone will get to that stage, I hope so, but Q does say 4 to 6% won't make it. The ending won't be for everyone. But I think once we've got to the point where we're ready to detach from whatever it is, exactly, that's totally right, Christine. 99% of jobs are not unnecessary. And that's already been proven. COVID, what happened in COVID? 80% of the workforce were on furlough. And things continue to work. Physical workers like shop workers and all that, central services, they were, running the economy really. And they were great. They did great jobs. But they were real jobs. All the other ones where people check into a box in an office and pretend to work. You could get probably a week's worth of work done in about 3 hours in reality if you just focused on it. But it's all shuffling pieces of paper back and forth, isn't it? Or electronic pieces of paper, email. Do you remember the time you used to be able to call someone up? Now you've got to text them or email them to check if you can phone them. That slows everything up. It just slows it down. It grinds it to a halt. Technology is great, but also it allows slowness and blockages in the system in certain lanes. But you're exactly right, whoever put that comment. Yeah, so many jobs are just not necessary. They're not necessary. That COVID proved it. And there'll be other jobs in the future that aren't necessary, because you'll have AI, you'll have the quantum financial system, you have higher dimensions, and people are tied to their jobs. Some people's existence is like work. It's like Americans. I know a lot of Americans, and it's good to have a good work ethic, but it's not good to be a slave. And some people have been caught up. I don't mean my Americans that are watching me now, but I mean Americans that are kind of non-awake, and they take pride in having 3 or 4 jobs. That isn't a life, you know, because you're just robbing Peter to pay Paul. Come back, Peter, come back, Paul. That's not a life. It's great to focus on your goals, and it's great to achieve things that have a real benefit to society. But just to being a consumer, you know, unfortunately that's all part of the system. It's all part of the cabal. It's like, yeah, you have 4 jobs, and then you just spend it all at the weekend, and you keep doing the same thing. That's not freedom. That's just a large prison camp, and that's kind of what most of life has been. You know, you have to check, can you go to the loo, can you take a bathroom break, you have to check with someone to do this, can you do that, can you blow your nose, all these things. But thankfully all that stuff is getting tossed out the window and it's going. But some people are holding on to it. It's like Stockholm syndrome. Some people will die on that hill of honouring that system. And I've always known as a kid, almost from my first consciousness, that all of that stuff was crap. And then you go along with it for a bit, and then you go through your teenage years. But I knew from a very young age that just all of that was nonsense. It's been a prison planet, hasn't it? Has been a prison planet, and that's the thing. That's what we're fighting against. We're fighting against people's conditioning. We're fighting against the invisible enemy that President Trump has spoken about, which are these interdimensional tricksters. And thankfully, that's getting exposed and it's coming to an end. But still, sometimes they pop up, and it's like we just have to hammer them into oblivion, stand up, call them out, capture our power, overcome them, and then annihilate them from the earth. You know, President Trump said we just execute the gangs. We have to execute interdimensional nonsense. You know, it has to go. But it is amazing how people will fight for their captors. People will fight for their prison guards. It's bonkers, but we see it. And over time, I hope more and more people will realise that, and they'll wake up and not want that anymore. I think when the storm and the black swan hits, we'll see more and more. I think that will be the last real kind of obvious chance for people to wake up. It will be as obvious as COVID was in terms of obedience and compliance. It's like, I think it has to be undeniable, and that's probably partly what this thing with the BBC is starting off. That'll probably be the crumbling of it. I mean, $1 billion lawsuit, that would be massive, and then that will start to trigger other things as well. So there's all the things in play, isn't there? There's all the balls in play. There's all these dominoes in play, and once one goes, then the rest will go. And it could be as early as tomorrow. Back to the Future, time travel. The date of the storm is tomorrow, November 5th, if we're on that timeline. Somehow we're on that timeline because Bushnell Avenue is the street name in real time of where Biff Tannen, Lorraine Baines, and I think George McFly live. And that's only been revealed to me in the last few days. So, the F1 timeline is pulling the plug. They say you have to the end of the season. That's like the first week into December. So there's all these things. The gap is narrowing, thankfully. And it might get more and more kind of bonkers, but it's eventually has to change. Everything has a time and season, and this has been predicted and prophesied in all areas of reality that we're going to change. And so we're praying for it tomorrow. We're praying for it that it was yesterday, but we're ready. So, you know, we're ready, folks. We're ready. And if people want to hold on to their captors, then they have to go through their own awakening, you know. They have to go through their own awakening. We've been trying. We'll continue to try, and they're welcome. There's all you know, anyone can join in. There's plenty of room. Anyone can join in. But it's the paradigm of their mind, the prison of their mind, which keeps them out. Belief systems can liberate you, or they can captivate you. They can captive you, keep you in captivity. People are able to choose, you know. There are some things we're brought up with from our parents, and there are obvious things that we choose deliberately not to do because of our parents. And that will be the same for them. There'll be things that they grew up with that they do because of their parents, and there'll be things that they choose deliberately not to do or to change or improve because of their parents. And everyone is the same on that. So, yeah, the flux capacitor. Life is always in flux. And let's hope, something with the storm tomorrow. That would be great. That would be great. The gap is narrowing. It is. The gap is narrowing. The noose is tightening. Straight is the way and narrow is the gate. You know, however we want to put it, we're getting there. We're funneling through. And then you get the propulsion. You can pop through, pop through from one reality to another. Like I was watching a surfing thing last night. It was great. It's like you go through the tube, boom. You know, energies are in flow. Flux is in flow. Energy is 74. Gematria is 74. So there you go. 10:04 p.m. I know what you meant, Matt. There. Anyway, I'll see you all tomorrow, folks. Here you go. If anyone's a loud sleeper, your partner might be a loud sleeper. There's a loud sleep setting on the AHA Halo scaler. So if someone's a snorer, if you are, or if your partner is a snorer, you might want to get yourself an AHA Halo, because that's one of the settings that can help with loud sleep. So links are below. Free international shipping. Click the link. You've got the discount with Tom numbers, and I'll see you tomorrow, folks. Thanks for hitting the hype button. And if you're watching this on replay, go back and hit the hype button, because someone did a great calculation. They said if we get 100, I think 182 is the flux capacitor. So maybe that's exactly the case. 182 hypes will get us into the top 10 of top 100 of YouTube videos. So let's go for it. Thanks, folks. Lots of love. I'll see you tomorrow. God bless. Bye.